Okay, Dan said he's going to get back on. Here he comes. How about it?
Run over your meeting, but that's where I'm at with this.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Trying to find some foothold, I guess is the word I'm looking for, so it can.
Yeah, exactly. Because all these issues factor into it, man, and it's kind of tough. Go ahead. Keep finishing your thoughts there, Michael.
But you would think people like you and people like the Proud Boys and the what do you call it, the focal points of each one of those organizations would be thinking the same thing. Why can't they, regardless of, I understand Daniel's point about morality, but I don't know if everybody's going to fall into that category and still want to have a good constitution. So I don't know.
Yeah, let's hear your thoughts on that, Dan, because I contemplate that too. On the one hand, it would be great to have just a bunch of righteous, godly, God-respecting, moral people only. But it's true. There's, like he said, there's the Proud Boys. They're out there drinking and thinking that's cool, man. And they got their tattoos and they're doing a little vaping and they're smoking and they're going to the titty bars afterwards. They're just a bunch of good old boys, and so not necessarily church-going Christian righteous men necessarily, but yet they're going to want to stand up for the Constitution and our rights.
Right.
Well,
that go ahead.
It gets back to where you are as far as your faith. If you believe this is a judgment that's on us for our immorality, then we need to do it by the book. And the book says that it's a righteous army that wins the battles, not a bunch of ragtag misfits that are going to come out there and, like you said, they think. And I've met skinheads that like to get drunk and all this stuff, but they were intelligent guys. They had they were smart, well read, they had really good ideas, but they had no morality. I mean, they would curse, they would drink, they would whore around, and they wonder why they're not getting anywhere. Well, if none of us is perfect, nobody said that it's going to be a perfect army of perfect men, but Ezekiel put it very plainly. He said, we're in a valley of dead and dry bones. That's a biblical way of saying spiritually dead people. That's why these morons are putting on masks when there's absolutely no science behind it whatsoever, because they just react to whatever the beast tells them. It's the righteous that know better than that, because they don't live in a state of fear. And the righteous know to turn off that damn television. I mean, it's nothing but garbage. Okay, so again, and we don't have to be a majority. What did God do to King David when he wanted to count his army? He punished him. He said, I don't want you sitting around worrying about the size of your army. You worry about the best men. Same thing happened to Gideon. Gideon started out with 33,000 men. And he said, all right, first thing you do is you send all the timid guys back home. Well, that took him down to 10,000 guys. So he lost 2/3 of his army. And he goes, okay, you say I'm going to go win this battle. Okay, I'll go with my 10,000. He said, nope, you still have too many guys. What the hell are you talking about? I've only got 10,000 guys left. He said, now I'll take them down for a drink of water at the creek. And he was going to test them. And that's what we're being right now. We're being tested to see who's can stand right now. Right. He took his guys down by the river. And what did he say? All right, it's a hot summer day. Go ahead and get a drink of water. Well, only 300 guys kept their shield and their swords by their side and brought the water up to their face so they could keep an eye on the horizon. Smart. Never let their guard down. All the rest of them dropped their shields, their spears, and stuck their face down in the water like a dog, which means they could have been attacked. They could have been snuck up on. So what he did, he sent the cowards home and he sent the foolish home. So that he only had 300 what? Real warriors, the best. Smart, brave, without fear, righteous. And that army will win every single time. And the thing about it is Gideon fought a much bigger army. And here's the best part. His 300 not only won, but he didn't lose a single man. Think about that. He did not lose one of his men in that battle. So that's the side I'm on. I want a Gideon army. I don't give a damn how big it is. When I go to the field of battle, I want to know that every guy out on that battlefield feels the same way I do. I love my God in heaven. I love my family. I love myself. and I love my neighbors, and I'm willing to lay my life down for them. And I'm going to do the right thing, and I don't care about the consequences, up to and including dying. I don't care. I'm just going to do the right thing. That's the army this enemy fears. And I always quote Alexander the Great said it. I don't fear an army of lions led by a sheep, but I do fear an army of sheep led by a lion. Our job right now is to organize the lions. Wake up the lions. They're not going to be the majority, but they're going to be the ones that's going to win the day.
That's a great, outstanding, fabulous, wonderful, terrific points there, Dan. I appreciate that, man. And that makes me just want to direct that back to you, Michael. Don't worry about it, brother. Do what you can. You're the man now. Where we go? We got Washington County, Oregon, checked off. We got Miami. We got Miami-Dade County checked off, and we got Florida City checked off.
Did you guys get the text that just came in?
No.
All right, let me read it to you. This just came in. I don't know who this is. It's part of a group text, but it says, I've just been informed that the members of Congress have been called to an emergency meeting because the 2020 election has been decertified. The military will be deployed at 0500 tomorrow.
That does sound, I mean, you know me, man, I don't go for, I'm like, oh, here we go, another psyop, another bullshit.
Oh, it could be, but here's the point. If it is a psyop, why did they do it? Because guys like us are talking about getting our rifles off the wall and going to Washington and taking care of business. That's the part. Whether it's a psyop or not, it's an indicator that our side is creating fear.
Right. Good point, brother. That's a really good point.
What's important. That's what's important. We have to lose the fear of talking about taking back control of our country because we've lost control.
Yeah, and at any rate, you're right. The timing on that was perfect. That you had a text come in like that, regardless of if it's bullshit or not. Came in at the perfect time.
Hey, Dan.
My dad here.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Oh, hey.
Bye.
I'm doing fine, sir.
That's my dad, Michael. That's Michael out in Oregon there, Pop.
How you doing?
I was in Oregon last year, sir, and most different state I've ever seen in my life. A bit scary to me. I'm a flatlander.
Yeah, my son Josh is a hotshot firefighter. So he was out in Oregon fighting the fires last summer. So my dad flew out there, and he was out there for about a month or two with my son, and my son was having him shit his pants on the edge of those mountains.
Yeah, you can't get the stains out of it, Savannah. But I'll tell you what, I'm almost 81 years old this coming year, and is all the arthritis that I got in my fingers, my trigger finger still works.
There you go.
So I can tell you, folks, old man like me, I was in law enforcement in my younger days, but you know what? I can still got good eyes. I got good ears for 80, and I can work that finger. So I can tell you right now,
that'll work.
Government lunatics that have gone wild and mad in our Washington, D.C., there's a lot of guys like me hanging on just for the reason we ain't dying until our country's free.
That's
and
true.
I guarantee you, you guys are on the right track. Hang in there tight. Like I say, it's not anything worthwhile has never been easy. And our forefathers, if they were alive, they'd tell you it wasn't easy, but they did it. They did it because there was a just cause. And once we can get the rest of these foreign countries off our ass and we owe them zip, we don't owe them nothing. We paid the price back in 1776 for what we got today, but we have lost touch with the reality of what the hell's going on in our country. A lot of people, a lot of good people have lost touch because of somehow they've lost. They think that we're living in a magical time when nothing could ever be wrong with this country and everything is always right. But we've been fed a lot of BS by the powers to be at hand. And we know what's right and wrong. We need to resolve it by coming alive again, like our patriots did in 1776. 1980, we had our country secure. And well, let's keep it that way. So I say to all you people out there that might listen, I might be old, but I'm not senile and I'm not nuts. But I do know that the men that have been on this thing tonight have spoke the truth. Wake up, America, get your ass in gear and do the right thing for yourselves, your family, your country. That's what comes first. Hundreds and thousands of people probably over the last 2 centuries, 3 centuries have given their life. And if they roll over in their grave today, if they could see the state of affairs we're pressed with, let's not disappoint their spirits. Let's get together. I guarantee you, as old as I am, I can put my right leg and my left leg in front of each other. I now know how to do this. So I will be on the front lines as quick as any 18 or 20 or 25-year-old. I'm not afraid at all. And I'll say it in front of the world that might be listening right now.
Come over for a second.
If you screw with America, you're going to get the rattlesnake on your ass. So help me God, I know as I sit here in this kitchen right now, America isn't going to wane over to the slime bags that exist in our government and elsewhere throughout the communities of our country. We have to weed them out. We have to get them out and come to your senses, people. America, come to your senses. There is another chance. But we, the people, for the people, by the people, must do the job, because the ones in power are not doing the job. They're not real Americans. They're infiltrators, communists, low-life bastards that should be gotten rid of. And we can still do that. And I'm not just talking through my ass. I'm telling you right now that I'll be on the front line with you at 81 years old, or whatever the hell age I am if I live to be 100. It's worth, if I have to die for it, it's worth if we win, it's worth the death, because the resurrection's coming. Jesus Christ is coming. And when he comes back, he'll settle he'll square up with those that are defaulted. Trust me on that. He'll square up with them. But we'll do what our responsibility is required as our forefathers in 1776 did. Don't give up the ship. You ain't seen nothing yet. The Tea Party was a ball game. That was cowboys and Indians. You know, all I can tell you is, America, wake up, get your shit together, and do the job. We're still America.
Good advice.
Amen. Well said. Well said. Bravo.
Good seeing you guys.
It's too cooked, Monica.
I'm going to go sit down and have a piece of chicken.
Thank you.
And it ain't because I'm chicken either. You can bet your ass on that. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Yeah, my son. I just want my son to say hi to Michael, because Mike, you say hi to Michael real quick, John? He's my son. Here's my son who I told you is a hotshot firefighter. Josh, he's eating right now, but
What's up? Hey,
that's
John.
Michael, he's out in Oregon.
Oh, yeah. What part of Oregon? What part of Oregon?
He ask him again.
What part of Oregon are you in?
We're over here, Portland metropolitan area.
We can't hear you, Michael.
Yeah, turn your audio up, Michael.
This microphone keeps going down. Let me turn it back up. I'm over here in the Portland metro area.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you're like Chad, man. Yeah, I just spent 2 months in Oregon City.
That's not bad. It's a little.
That's nice, but Portland, I hate it. Portland is the worst city I've ever been to. So.
Anyway, I just want you to say hi there. Say hi to my son real quick, because he was out in that way. Because he knows that
No, I
area.
didn't mean disrespect by that. It was just that there's a lot of trash there.
Yeah. He knows. Yeah, my son said it was pretty trashed out when he went to Oregon.
It is, and like I was saying earlier, I got really cautious of trying to, watch the news. I don't watch it anymore. It's just the city was just going to crap, and it's getting even worse. So.
Oh, Grandpa, Talk to an
Now,
attorney.
now, Michael, we got a guy out in Oregon named Chad, he's one of the generals. He's right there with us. So I got to try to get you connected with him too.
Sure.
I don't know how close you are, but my son said you guys are pretty close to each other. I'm not sure what county he's in. I'll ask him, but I'll get you connected. I'll send you his phone number and him yours so you guys can communicate.
Well, just so Daniel and I've been pushing the Joshua 24:15 and the 1 John 2:15. I think those two are pretty powerful things for people to really get their morals, and you got to choose. You can't just sit on the fence. You got to choose, and
Eventually, they're gonna have to maintain it.
I think that's where we're at. They want to choose their idolatries and stuff. They don't want to. They don't want to choose the Lord. They want to choose material crap. So I'm going to try to sway them. And my family, they're moving toward a little better, but they got their lives to run too. So you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Then-
Still a little noisy in my
Because
kitchen, so I'm muting
The
myself
Audubon
out.
Society
Um,
and the
what do you got,
environmentalist
Dan?
groups will push that on them if they're not maintained.
Can you hear us, Dan?
I couldn't hear most of what Michael was saying.
It's needed.
But he says it's okay.
I couldn't hear.
Well, I cranked it up.
I
Can
think
you hear
your
me now?
background noise, Mike, is drowning out. Mike Singer, I mean, your background noise is drowning out.
I'm muting right now because of the noise in the kitchen, but I think
How about
Mike has his air conditioner going right now. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
turned off my air
Michael in
conditioner.
Oregon.
Volume keeps going down.
yeah, it goes in and out constantly. Yeah, I can't hear.
Yeah, Michael, it's like you have a loose wire
right.
or something.
No, it's not.
Now you're out again.
Yeah, I keep going up and down. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're in and out. All right,
Later.
well, hey, I think we got some more points made on this
Sure.
video. Again, I'm going to be doing these meetings Sundays at 7 and Wednesdays at 6:30. I'm just going to go live so that anybody that wants to come on can ask questions or say, hey, I'm in this county and I love to be the point man. I'm right on board with you guys. Again, I did my best. I was inspired last night. If you haven't read it yet, read. And I edited it because just to address this quick, I told my dad, I do believe that a great many, especially Christian men, we feel women don't need to be armed. They don't need to be fighting. It's a man's job to do the fighting and to protect women, etc. But I told at the same time, there's this kind of, it's not just the political correctness thing. It's not just about the political correctness. It's the fact that there are women. There are women that are patriots and there are women that can shoot really good, right? So by all means, I just want to address that because it needs to be aired out. I've had people comment on some of my videos, what are you saying, militia for women and men? Militia should only be for the men. In theory and in principle, I'd say I agree with that women don't need to be warriors and fighters. They need to be lovers and homemakers, and men are the warriors. I concur with that. And if we factor in how Hollywood has actually deliberately tried to turn women into these, butches, with no hair and the arms and the tattoos and the women fighters, it's disgraceful. So there is that issue. Go ahead on that issue, Dan.
It's not a question of whether they deserve it or that they don't make good soldiers. It's that you mix male and female in the battlefield and it's a disaster. Every military in the world that ever tried mixing male and female in combat divisions regretted it and reversed it. Only the retards that we have today in the military are still pushing this bullshit story. And again, it goes back centuries. You don't mix male and female in your battle regiments and in your battalions. You just don't do that because it's a natural thing. Males and females react differently. Males will do stupid shit to save female soldiers they wouldn't do for male soldiers. Okay, so again, it's just the fact that you've got a hybrid mixed multitude for a military, it doesn't work. The best you can do is have an all male military for just those reasons. All right. That's
Right.
why. It's not that they're not qualified. Women
Yeah,
should know how to
Michael,
fight. Women should know how to handle weapons.
Michael, if you will mute, Michael, if you can click your mute button and have it your sound mute like this.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
it is, but there's something
yeah,
in the
you're getting a
background
lot
that
of
keeps
like
jumping in.
noise that's jumping in, interfering. I don't know if you might have a loose wire or something, Michael, but if you could just mute it for a second, because I do want to just get this a point addressed. It is kind of a touchy issue. I just want to address it on behalf of, again, here we are, we're going to organize the militia, right? I am of the position that there's no question the communists, right, that have infiltrated and hijacked the US government, and they own the Hollywood and the media and the movies and the television and the gaming and everything. Absolutely. They're pushing for women to be men to be women to be butches, and they're trying to turn women into warriors instead of the maternal loving, beings that they're meant to be, turn them into tattooed, butched, bull dyke, fighting soldiers. It's ridiculous. Having said that, yes, there are women that are good, beautiful, attractive, maintaining their femininity, beautiful women that are good mothers and good wives, and they're very patriotic, and they like to shoot and they like to go out to the range. And many of them are more qualified than some men. That's the point my dad actually made this morning. He said, yeah, actually, some of them women are more qualified than some of the idiot men out there. And there's truth to that. Now, the last point I'll make on it that I want to say is, the Florida statute for militia says every able-bodied person in Florida is the militia. So to the extent that we, the people, are the militia, we're not talking about a military. I will flat out say, I believe the United States military should only be the best of warrior men. I believe that. That's my position. Now, are there places, now we get into that dialogue. Well, are there positions for women, right? Clerical, and, are there little other areas? Bottom line is, I do believe that the fighting role and the warrior combat role, I don't care if it's flying jets, because there's another one, right? We got women that fly jets. So what do we say about that? They're women and they fly F-22s, right? So, it's because they made it a politically correct thing. Hey, we could have transsexuals flying F-22s. I don't believe they should be. I believe any and all combat warrior roles should be men. I believe that, but it's not that way. So to the extent that we're not even talking about the military, which has problems to begin with, there should be no transsexuals. Trump did get the transsexuals out of the military. Again, most likely just to, my wife is one of those that is a dead eye shot right on. So, the fact that, again, it's kind of a three-pronged thing. Yes, there's this Hollywood version, this communist infiltration of America where they want to make women men and men women, and the transgender, transsexual bullshit, and turn women into bull dyke warriors. That's a reality, and I'm opposed to that. There's the reality that the militia, again, in the state of Florida, every able-bodied person, so we're all militia, and there's a difference between the military and the militia. So I just want to air it out, kind of shake the carpet, because these are issues essentially where we're never going to get everybody to agree on it to begin with. And we'll have some women that agree. There'll be women that agree with us if we say women shouldn't be in the military and women shouldn't be armed. There'll be women that agree with that, but there'll be other women that'll be offended and upset, right? And they could be good patriotic women. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, we have to understand, we're talking about primary roles. Okay, if all the men that go out in the front lines and they get mowed down, well, obviously the children and the women better know how to defend themselves, because now the men are gone. So even the Bible says that you are to train your family in the ways of war and the weapons of war. That includes all the family, young men, young women, wives, etc. Everybody should know how to defend themselves. What we're talking about, what is the prime objective? The prime objective is the fighting's done by the men. That's always been that way. Historically, biblically, common sense, you name it. That's who your frontline soldiers are. Now you look at the Chinese. Are they putting women in the front lines? No. You look at the Russian army, probably one of the best armies in the field right now. Do they put women in the front lines? No. Every country that's doing that is getting their asses kicked in combat. Every soldier I know that has served in active duty where women were part of the fighting forces, it was a disaster. Okay, again, it's nothing against them. It's not what they were designed to do. We're in the fix we are because we think we're better than God. We can decide for ourselves what we want to be, as my brother calls it, the Walt Disney World fantasy trip. Whatever we want to wish ourselves to be, male, female, gay, straight, fighter, warrior. I watched a movie. I saw G.I. Jane. See, girls can do it because there's a movie that says it. Well, that's bullshit. Why don't we get back to the way God created things and admit that we screwed up? And let's get back in the order that was meant to work and has worked for thousands of years until the modern era. Why don't we admit that? Why is it so hard to say, well, okay, let's stop playing God. We're not the smartest thing in the world. The creator actually is. Maybe we should try to do it his way. You think maybe, you know? Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm 69 years old. And I've been studying the Bible since I was a boy, and I can't find any mistakes in it. And I can find lots of things in my life that were wrong because I didn't obey what it says in the book. And that includes relationships, that includes hygiene, that includes food, medicine, military, you name it. It's got a rule and a regulation in there. And every time I got in trouble, every time my body was not healthy, it's because I was violating the rules.
Yep.
So at least in my life, I've reached the point where I'm tired of disobeying. I'm working my ass off to obey every single rule he's got. I may not do it perfectly, but that's my goal every time I get out of bed in the morning. I'm going to obey the rules.
I appreciate those sentiments and those words, Dan. Again, like I said, I wanted to shake the carpet out and air that issue out, and I think you helped us to wrap that up perfectly. The bottom line is, yes, women and children trained too, and therefore militia. That's why I was going to make the point that I sent out a quick email at 3 a.m. when I got up and was inspired to write what I wrote about, the oath and the philosophy and the creed of the militia and what we're about. And I initially just wrote, every man, right, or every person. And then I realized that because of giving it thought, even women and children need to be trained, and the militia is all of us. It's the people. So I think on the issue of the militia, it's fair to approach it by saying, man or woman, right? When it comes to the militia and organizing and being there at the meetings and studying the laws and studying, armed safety and organizing as militia, as an organized network of we the people who are the militia. Yeah, that's all inclusive. That includes men, women, and children. So I did go back and tweak. And, so now I reference man and woman, in the oath and the philosophy and the creed for the militia. And I think that's appropriate for those reasons. But again, it can be touchy because people will have different ideas and different opinions. I've been criticized in videos before because I wrote something just off the cuff of, maybe my mind was even temporarily just being politically correct. I was writing something about, of standing up and, and bearing arms and every man and woman can fight, and somebody said, women aren't supposed to fight, men are supposed to fight. I can't disagree with them. You know what I mean? But again, you make the point of train our women and our children. So again, we'll never satisfy everybody on everything, right? There's always going to be differences of opinions on things, but I wanted to shake that out. So thanks. Any thoughts on that, Michael? Yeah, unmute, Michael. Make sure you unmute first.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like Daniel. I'm 68, and I've had my ups and downs, and I've learned not to judge. So if somebody wants to be left or right or her or he, doesn't concern me. It's more the moral part of it, and I know everybody has their own definition of morality. But mine is pretty straightforward. God created man and woman, and that's where I stand with that. So, but I really want to see some change before my last breath. But I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive with it. But I think if we start somewhere, And I think this is my start here.
Yeah, let me just throw this into it just for thought. We don't know. Nobody really knows everything for sure. People have different points of view. My son and my dad and I just this morning were talking about it because there are different interpretations. Meeting will end in 10 minutes, so we got 10 minutes again. You know, there's Christians that believe reincarnation exists, you know, that the body's just a vehicle, and you know, we come back and the soul comes back. And there's Christians that don't believe that, right? So again, you can't please everybody. But I'm just saying this in jest for whatever it's worth. Who knows if the creator is using us for an ultimate end game down the road. Where I favor the concept of reincarnation, whether it's true or not, is God is using man to achieve an end. And if there's people like us that are going to go out at 60 or 70, why not have us come back in and now we're at 20? What if the shit hits the fan in 5 years and the creator has all of us die off now because we're in our 50s and 60s, and has us come back because, say, 20 years from now, we're going to be in our prime at 20 and we'll be fighting against evil bastards, you know, in theory, right? And I use the example of Stanley Meyer, the man that created the hydrogen fuel cell water car, which is a big thing that I'm into right now. There's so much truth to that, and so much anti-propaganda they're putting out to try to cover that reality. There are people now that are literally creating jars in their car with a 9-volt battery that's stimulating the water and creating hydrogen on demand, which is giving them 50% increase in their gas mileage, right? So it's real, right? But to the extent that we know about Stanley Meyer, you know, the story goes they killed him, right? He was he went to a restaurant, he was drinking, and he said in one of his videos, I was watching one of his videos yesterday, he said that the Saudis or Kuwaiti offered him $1 billion to stop what he was doing. They offered him $1 billion. And he said no. And of course, he had on his car, Jesus is Lord, right? Jesus Christ is Lord. He was a strong Christian man. So I'm always telling people, because I'm bold about the truth, and I'm anti-corruption, and I'm fighting the good fight. I said, nothing can or will hurt me unless the creator allows it. And I believe that. And then I'm stuck with the conundrum of, well, wait a minute. Stanley Myers was a Christian, godly man. And yet our story of him is he went in to drink some coffee and stood up saying, they killed me. And he fell over dead on the floor, right? And he was doing God's work. But again, why? He was in his 60s. And that was 20, 30 years ago. For all we know, he's one of the people today in this world that's in his 20s or 30s because he came back. And he's one of the people that are still trying to push that out and get it out there. I don't know. These are just thoughts. But life is short. It's unpredictable. My first wife died when she was 29. My wife's sister died when she was 29 on my first wife's birthday, actually. It was a coincidence. But 29 years of age, beautiful people, both of them. Tragedy. What is it? We don't know what life is completely. If I believe there's a creator God that can do absolutely anything, so anything's possible. We hear about different dimensions and time travel and going in the past and going in the future, and you know the body's just a vehicle anyway for the essence of who we are, our soul. Obviously different Christians have different views. I understand all that, but I'm just throwing that out there just for a little bit of food for thought. Who knows? Maybe we're all going to check out in the next few years, and 20 years from now, things are really going to be getting shitty, but we'll all be in our prime, fighting on the front lines. Who knows?
Well, I'm like I said, my chat message there. My wife, she's got hers locked and loaded all the time, so she's waiting for FEMA to come to the gate. So she's
right on.
Scared, so
yeah, we got to definitely get you hooked up with Chad, Michael, for sure.
All right.
You guys will click, man. That'll be 2 strong militia people right there, and you guys will get the whole thing going.
Cool.
So in short, again, Dan and I have discussed this in past videos. We have to have constitutional sheriffs. Let's just plug Sheriff Richard Mack, right, who's out there patrolling around the country. The CSPOA, right, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. I'm a member. I believe Dan's a member. Yeah, I would encourage people to be a member. You know, it's $99 a year. Help him get funded so he can go around talking to the sheriffs and saying, look, man, you work for the people, not for the elected officials. You don't work for the mayor or the governor or the president. You work directly for the people to uphold the laws that protect their rights, right? So that is a big thing that's going on with Richard. I'm always pushing that. Every single sheriff in the state of Florida is on my mailing list. So that's one thing I'll encourage you to do as the point man in Washington County. Try to get a list of that where you could put it, the email address, email comma of every single sheriff in your state of Oregon. Every point man in every county should do that so that they're all on your mailing list. Because I could be sending out emails, Dan could send out emails, and you could forward those emails to your sheriffs in your county and throughout your state. Something that the point men can be doing.
Sure. Well, I sent you my email through a text message. I didn't know if you would like to put it on here. So
Yeah, we'll communicate via phone probably tomorrow to get, whatever contact information you want, because now I'll be putting on, Oregon, your county links. It'll have your name, your number, your contact info. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So again, we're looking for righteous, godly. Again, it's all outlined on what the preferred credentials would be for true Americans that believe in the United States as a sovereign republic, the constitutional republic, that believe in traditional family values, morals, God. You should, preferably a Christian, because Christians are people ultimately that believe in the Creator God Almighty and in morality. Another one that I get a lot of flip-flop information from people on my BitChute comments. There's people that despise Christianity because of the man-made mainstream bullshit Christianity, right? So that's understandable. But I try to let them know, no, I understand your disdain for the man-made bullshit of religion and false Christianity, but that doesn't mean that the man Yeshua did not walk on this earth. There's proof beyond proof beyond proof of that reality.
Right. Well, like that, I was saying, you mentioned about the non-Christians and they want to push it. John was talking about all three types, the Gentiles, Jews, and in his 1 John 2:15, he was speaking to, don't play with the world. The world is a terrible place, and follow God and all that stuff. So it's not like we can just dismiss them. They do exist, and if we can turn them to help us with the Constitution, that regardless of their religious preference, it's the end result that we're looking for. And they'll be judged by God at the end of the day, whether our Constitution is strong or not. So that's where I stand on that. So I'm not going to exclude a non-Christian person if he still wants to help us with militia. Is that all right to be done too?
Absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. That's why I even put in there, the first one was Christian or person that believes in God and traditional family values and morality. And again, I put the note at the end. It says, even if you're a person who doesn't have any of those qualifications, sure. If you believe in the oath and the philosophy and the creed of what we're about, the militia, we are the militia, and we're looking to organize. That's enough. That's all the qualification you need. I don't care if you're who you are, actually. But then I would encourage that person to start trying to find. We want people that really have all of those qualifications, because we want the cream of the cream. But again, it's not an absolute. That's the preferred. That's why I said the preferred qualifications. And at the end, it says, even if you lack all of those, you could still be the militia point man or woman in your county. Because again, women are organized. They can help organize the militia. So it can be a woman just as well as a man, because when we get into the training, going to the front lines, those are other issues, right? But it's about getting us, the people, organized. That's what it's about.
And preferably through the legislation, like you were saying earlier, we take it to our representatives and we show them that we have this group of people, we have this strength, we have this direction, and either accept it or our vote counts somewhere along the line.
Right. Yeah. And on that note, as time goes on here, I'll be preparing forms and articulating and writing, anything that might even be needed by a point man to take to their mayor and their sheriff and say, hey, look, we're having a meeting. We are the militia. Here it says we're the militia, and here's the proof of it, and here's the laws. We're the militia. No, I'm not telling you we're here to arm up and go take you out of office right now, but I'll tell you that we're organizing, we're strategizing, and we're preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
There you go. All right, sounds good. So every Wednesday and Sunday between 6 and 7, right?
Sunday at 7, I'll come on, and Wednesday at 6:30, I'll come on. All right.
All righty.
All right, Michael. Thanks for coming in. Dan, any last thoughts?
No, just everybody just get prepared and stay prayed up and stay confident, because the enemy's trying to create chaos and fear. So obviously we should be doing the